Hi everyone, it's Rax. Path of Exile 2 and Grinding Gear Games released a mid-season endgame patch where they said, hey, we're going to release a bunch of endgame features and try to get some feedback because the next season that comes out, I think it comes out in December, is going to have all the other endgame updates and all the new content. So I played it, and I played it a lot. I have a 97 solo self-found witch. I have a 92 ranger. I have a lich in the end game. I have a warrior. I play it a lot. And then I was sitting there with chat, and we came up with a bunch of different things that Grinding Gear Games could consider looking at. And Fubgun was there, and also King Kongor was there. So there was a bunch of great people there. So let's just go through all these and see what feedback we have for Grinding Gear Games after a quick word from this video's sponsor. Guys, today's video is sponsored by Blue Protocol Star Resonance. This is a highly anticipated anime-style MMO that just released right now. It's got all the features that you would expect from a top-tier MMO. It's got a gigantic open world. It's got hunting. It's got gathering. It's got fishing. It's got endgame. It's got multiplayer dungeons and dungeon crawling, everything like that for you to enjoy. It's got full character customization, and it has, of course, all of the archetypes that you would really like to play. If you want to be a tank, if you want to be a healer, if you want to be a DPS, it's all there. If all of that wasn't good enough, I said this game's pretty highly anticipated. Well, guess who made a full branch for it? Maxroll. And by the time that this video comes out, it'll already be fully released and available for you. So it's going to have all of the build guides and the getting started, all the stuff that you would typically expect from the Maxroll branch. I know a lot of you really use this and rely on this for your games. It's even got its own branch for this brand new game. So if you'd like to play it, it's released on a bunch of different platforms. There's the link down below. And I want to thank Blue Protocol Star Resonance so much for sponsoring this video. Let's get back to it. All right, let's just get into it. The first one is very obvious. Don't need to get into it very much. And Grinding Gear Games knows this. But the whole optimization of the end game is still cooking a lot of people's graphics cards. Specifically Abyss. Abyss, they had in the patch notes that they fixed some things. I still have the lowest frame rate in Abyss by far. Part of it could be from the monster density, but just something that I hope they continue to look at. So one thing that I saw when I played Borderlands 4, which is another very, very graphic intensive game, was it had you download a shader package before you could even start playing. Now, I'm not saying that Grinding Gear Games should do this. For a lot of people, that would be a nightmare. Maybe you have a bad internet connection or whatever, and it would take you forever and you wouldn't be able to play. But I played hardcore SSF most of the season, and I'm telling you, almost all the time that I almost died or I lagged was because in the middle of some fight, the shaders started to go crazy. And if you haven't seen this, if you go in here, it's right here. You see where my pink mouse is over here? It's the shader thing that shoots green everywhere. So if you press F1, you can see this graph. So when I enter a new map and I see this green bar down here, it's not green right now, but when it starts going crazy, I just hit pause, and I just stand still and I watch the graph until it's finally done. This is the thing that almost kills me all the time. And then what a lot of people say is, well, no, use DirectX 12. No, use Vulkan. I downloaded the full shader packages for both of them, and I had the same issue all the time. It's like this. It's these spikes in these shader packages that keep happening. I don't know if there's anything that Grinding Gear Games can do for that, or if you could give us the option. Is there an option for some people to like bulk download the shaders before we start playing that could somehow help us? Because this is a huge reason. This is the main reason for me, by far, why I'm lagging in maps all the time. So this is extremely annoying. The UI of map tablets appearing off screen. Let's see if I can replicate this. So if we go here, and I don't know, if we go to, hello? Screen. Perfect. Here, you see where I'm going to put in this map? Do you see how it goes off screen? I can't see, like, if I put the map in, I have to go down here and drag it up or whatever in order to click this button. This happens all the time. I'm begging you, Grinding Gear Games, please, when we click a map, don't have it go off screen, please put it higher so we can always see the button. I'm certain that I am not the only one that experiences this. Death recap would be really nice. I have seen in an interview before that you guys are open to a death recap. I've heard you say it before. I remember. Can we get that? Is that a thing? Okay, so here's something I want to be very, very careful about my feedback, because people often misinterpret my words, or maybe I speak incorrectly, or a little bit of both. So let me say what this feedback is not. I am not telling you to nerf Simulacrum. That's not what I'm saying. A lot of people like how difficult Simulacrum is because it gives you like a really tough thing to try to conquer. Simulacrum 3, in my opinion, is probably the hardest content in Path of Exile 2. It's probably harder than Uber Arbiter, right? So my feedback to you, and do with it what you will, is that Simulacrum is way more difficult for almost every build than its counterparts. For example, in hardcore solo self-found this year, I easily beat Zesht 3, which is the final breach boss. I easily beat King of the Mist 3. No problem. But Simulacrum 1, I beat it. It was a little rough, but I beat it. And Simulacrum 2, I beat it barely. Like, I had like 10% health left in hardcore. And I didn't even get to try Simulacrum 3 before I got one-shotted by Doriani's ass laser. So, my feedback is not for you to nerf Simulacrum. My feedback is, if your intention is to try to line up the difficulties, if Simulacrum 1 is supposed to be about as hard as Zesht 1, as hard as King of the Mist 1, it's not. It's way, way more difficult. That's the feedback. If you want to bring the other mechanics up, or if you want to bring Simulacrum down, or whatever it is you want to do, that's the only feedback I'm providing you. I'm not telling you whether to nerf or whether to buff something. This, I think, is I would consider this a big problem. And this is something that Fobgun asked me to put in here, and I completely agree with him. When you apply Delirium, so we'll get to this later about juicing maps, but when you apply Delirium, it puts that gray haze over the entire map. And it also, I think, plays that carnival music, which, I mean, it's Delirium, right? It's supposed to make you go crazy. Boy, mission accomplished, because it drives me insane. And you say, well, Rax, quit being a dumbass and just turn off the music. Yes, that is an option for a lot of people. I can't do that because I'm streaming to YouTube, and YouTube copyrights all of the regular music that I play. So if I don't turn on Path of Exile, then they have nothing to listen to. First world problems, streamer problems, I get it. We don't make decisions off of that. But I can't turn off the music, and it drives me insane. So Delirium is supposed to be like a real endgame mechanic for your maps, for your really, really hardcore dedicated players. And they always have to have that gray fog. This is a good way for me to sell it to Jonathan. I see him in the talks, in the podcast all the time. Jonathan is so proud of and loves the artwork of the game. He doesn't want to do any, he doesn't like quad tabs, because quad tabs minimize the beautiful artwork that they put on icons. That's how much he loves the artwork. Great. I love the passion. Well, the Delirium fog making the whole game grayscale is interfering with that artwork. And we just hate it. Please, for the permanent Delirium, at least, that you apply to maps, please do something about it's all. I don't want like every endgame character that I play to be doomed to purgatory in POE2 that's always running this grayscale maps with the carnival music playing. It makes me not even want to use the mechanic. The visual clarity and the skill effect slider, I've heard them say that they just don't want to do this, but I mean, it gets pretty insane. Like, I played Ant Minion, and Ant Minion is actually not the most visual crazy ability. They're just ants that bite, so it's not too bad. But man, when I use some of the other minions or when I play some of the other skills, especially when you have the abyss and all the ground effects, it just gets so insane. And it's probably part of the reason why a lot of these graphics cards are getting absolutely cooked in the optimization. Has there been any further talks about something we can do with visual clarity, with an opacity meter, any slider, anything like that? Again, I don't want to ruin the beautiful artwork, but I would like to be able to see what's going on. One thing that would be really nice is, and you don't have to do exactly this, but anything would be some kind of search bar for the Atlas where you could type like unique or castaway or something. So for example, you might be making a new character and you might say, all right, well, I really need some levels. I'm like level 75. I need to get to 78 to wear Gemini bows. Okay. Well, it would be nice if there was a search bar where you could type unique. And it might maybe, draw a beam of light or something around the unique maps of stuff, of course, that you've already uncovered. I'm not asking you to show me in the fog. Or maybe you can type in castaway. Or I don't know how crazy you want to make it. You could even type one of those rare support gems. What are they called? I forgot their name. That drops in the certain maps with their powerful bosses, and maybe you could type in the name of the support and maybe it would highlight where that drops. You can do whatever you want with it. It doesn't have to be a search bar. It could be a legend on the left or the right. It could be whatever you want. But the thing that I am asking for as you're considering the Endgame patch is, how do I currently find my unique maps? What do? I do this. I look around, I do that. Is that what you want players to do? You want them to do this and look for the unique icon? Is that the intended design? I'm not even asking that as like a negative Nancy or in like a snarky way. I'm asking honestly, is that the intended thing? If not, any help would be appreciated. Okay, so here's another one. While we're decluttering the map, so we just had a big patch, right, where you guys took out a lot of the clutter. You wouldn't be able to tell here because I already made all these maps, so it doesn't really look like it. But the new stuff looks like this, and I absolutely love it, right? It's great. I love what you did here. While we're doing this, one thing that I noticed is, look right here. Look at this map. Do you notice anything? You want to know what's taking away from the beautiful artwork is these dotted lines. Now, we need a way to be able to see how they connect, right? Because I've had some instances where, I thought doing this map would connect to here, of course, and then I do this map and then it doesn't connect to there. And then I'm mad. I'm like, well, I wasn't paying attention, so it's my own fault, whatever. So we do need a way to see how they connect, but this current iteration of there being a permanent yellow dotted line everywhere, I found that when I was playing the game, all I saw were these yellow dotted lines. That's all I see everywhere. It's just yellow dotted lines. It's not the beautiful little trees, or it's not the sun temple, or it's not the individual icons. All I see are these yellow lines. I don't know exactly what the solution would be. Do you only show the yellow lines maybe if you hover over it? Or I don't know. You guys are better at this than me. I'm not really an art guy. Is there some cute way where we could have a way to see very easily if we're in this area where it goes without having all of this up all the time? That would look a little more beautiful, I guess. Again, I think you should have the option to have them permanently enabled, because some people are going to be like, God, Rax is so fucking stupid. I hate this guy. I want my yellow lines up all the time. I hate him. So maybe you make an option for it. If you want to have your yellow lines up, if you want to see the Swiss cheese everywhere, fine. But I do think something could be done here to make it a lot more beautiful while you're in the process of making things a lot more beautiful, like for the 1.0 launch, right? I'm just trying to help you here. Just something that I noticed. I think you did a good job. Something to consider. Zooming out further in the Atlas would be really nice. Here's how far I can currently zoom out. I guess you could argue that that's a fair amount to zoom out, and I wouldn't be able to argue with that. Me personally, I would take zooming out further for sure, and I think it would help me. It would help me like find the citadels that are randomly floated around everywhere. Because after you play for a while, you got to be scrolling quite a bit to see where you're at. So I'd take further zoom out if you'd give it to us. Here's more of a question. I know that you didn't completely remove this. So you removed the elite icons, the little yellow dots on your maps, because now you have a map boss. You kill the map boss, you complete the map, so that's what you get. But you didn't remove this feature because it is on maps where if you have a map where you have to kill all of the elites. I have done a map like that. I'm pretty sure it might have been a unique map. So it is still in the game, but I don't remember seeing this in the patch notes, and I'm kind of wondering, why did you remove the elite icons? Like, the only reason I can think of is because, well, I guess it's not the main objective, and maybe, again, as an effort to declutter the map, but this is valuable information. This is valuable information because we're paying a high price to run these endgame maps, and with all the checkpoints that you put in the game, I want to go kill those elites, even if I've killed the bosses. I mean, I've been conditioned to kill those elites by you for the last year. And, you know, I believe you guys said in the interview, well, killing the elites is a huge part of running the map. I mean, I agree with you. So, I don't know. From what I've heard, almost everybody wants these icons added back in. Is that a thing we can have? Did you remove it on purpose? Or can we have those back? Here's another thing. Like, I should give you better feedback than just this one sentence. I should give you like a spreadsheet and show you everything. But at least as a hardcore SSF player, not really with trade, and I think you guys already know this because if I remember correctly, again, in one of your podcasts, you guys specifically called out that Expedition needs some love. But the balance between the end game mechanics is really like not there. For example, for me building my characters, the two things that I need to really make my characters are Ritual and Abyss. Ritual gives me everything. It's given me all of my most valuable omens along with Abyss. It's given me my only level 20 skill gems. Never found one on the ground. And I've ran T15 irradiated maps the entire league and some 16s as well. Ritual gives me a super valuable currency. It's given me super valuable items. I mean, Ritual is just unbelievable. If you have it fully juiced with deferring all the time, it just rules. I love it. Expedition for me is just a total head scratcher. Never get anything from it. And really, the only reason why I can figure out why I would ever run Expedition is to get the bare minimum mats required to use the Recombinator. I think there is a huge difference in the value of these endgame mechanics that could be looked at is, in general, my feedback here. Let's look at some of the mechanics individually. Ritual. So one thing it's a great feature about Ritual that I think you coded it on purpose into the game, but it doesn't work all the time, is the icons bug out between gold and red. So when you're doing a map with Ritual, if you hit tab and you open up the map, okay, let's just pretend this is the map of a map. Well, if you've ran through half of it and you look backwards, a ritual that you have not done, the icon for it is gold. And a ritual that you have walked over that you have done is red. Great. I love that you did that. That's amazing. But it doesn't work. Like, a lot of the times, they'll go all red or they'll go all gold. And I don't know the logic of it, but it definitely doesn't work. And it definitely bugs out all the time. So if that is a mechanic that you intentionally built into the game, I love it. And I would check on how it works because it definitely bugs out all the time. Trust me, no one played more Ritual than me. If I didn't play Ritual in hardcore SSF, I would be doomed. But other than that, I think that's the only thing that I can think of about Ritual. It doesn't work. And with how much I did it, that's an amazing compliment. That's a good job. Now, WIS, I just don't understand WIS. I don't get them. So I want to show you something. Let me log out here. Let me go on to hardcore SSF. The entire league the entire league, I was playing, for the most part, hardcore SSF on a minion character, and I was juicing wisps as hard as I could. The reason why is as a minion character, you want to get 3 Talisman of Ralakesh. I think they're called talismans. And I desperately need them. And research where they came from. They come from wisps. So I go down here, not this tree. This is the essence tree. I respect out of it. But the Esmiri spirits. Sorry. Spirits is the right word. Spirits, not wisps. Taking all of these nodes and play, right? I want to show you something. Look at this. If I go here, is it under sockets? Yes. Down here are the rare talismans. I ran these the entire league, the whole league. I did everything. I even did in my towers that bosses have are possessed by wisps. I even did that. And you can see I found 0 the whole league. And I played a lot. I'm talking hundreds of hours. The wisp mechanic, like people say, well, Rax, they do drop. I see them on softcore trade. They exist. I don't know. I feel like there's such a debate. I feel like for me, running it the whole league and not finding one of them, I thought was devastating. So might want to look at the drop rates for wisps and how they work. I didn't get 1 Ralakesh. They move very slow. And one very strange thing about wisps, I'm not really sure if this is like intended, but they don't target the nearest elite. It's very awkward when you start a map and you get a wisp and you're walking and there's an elite and it just floats on by to the one that it's targeting near the end of the map. That's happened to me multiple times. Remember, I ran wisp the whole league. I watched these guys. And they have some very, very strange behavior. And even when a wisp reaches an elite, this is very first world problems, right? But if you're playing like a really powerful build, sometimes you run up and you're following the wisp with how slow it is, and you just accidentally kill the guy before the wisp even gets a chance to infect him. And it's like, ooh, okay, I got to actually relax here. I got to take it a bit slow. So I definitely think the wisp could use some love from you guys. We don't need to go over it twice. I don't know why I copied it twice. Okay, the strong boxes. So the thing about strong boxes is you gave us the ability to quick use the currency on the bottom. I love that. But usually where the currency icon lands on the box of the strong box is usually right on top of clicking the strong box itself. So I'm sure I'm not the only one who has accidentally opened the strong box when you meant to, alk it or exalt it or whatever it is you're doing. I'm just wondering, could the icon for this ability go somewhere else? It's similar to the window feedback back up here where we're talking about how the tablets appear off screen. Can we make this currency icon that we're using on the box appear anywhere that isn't also right next to where it opens the box, so we can deliberately make the decision about which one we want to do? I solve this problem on my own very easily. I'm very surgical. I pretend like I'm sniping in Fortnite. I squint my eyes, I get really close. I make sure that I click the right currency so I don't accidentally open the box. Okay, here's another question, like a philosophical question. Can it pull the currency from our stash? It's kind of like going to the library in Path of Exile 1 where you go to Siosa and is that her name, Siosa? Where you're trying to buy a gem from her. Oh no, if you didn't bring an Orb of Transmute or an Aug with you, you can't buy it. It's like, man, dude, every other vendor in the game pulls from my stash if I've got the currency. And I have to bring it to Siosa. It's kind of the same here. So again, I solved this very easily. In fact, I think I'm doing it right here, not on this character, on that previous character. I just walk around. I walk around with a stack of stuff in my inventory. And whenever I have a strong box, it's no big deal. Here it is. Alk, Aug, Exalt, Valid. I just carry these with me. And that's fine. So I solved it, whatever. But carrying around these 4 with me all the time feels bad. I really wish it would just pull from my stash, you know? It's not ever pulling anything crazy. I mean, it's not like these currencies, if you spent them accidentally as a noob, you'd be bankrupted. It's not spending divines. So I don't think there's any harm in pulling from the stash, right? The Abyssal Depths. They get a little boring because they have one layout. Not the biggest problem in the world, but you're asking for feedback, so here's some feedback. I didn't know this, but chat pointed this out. They make you lose your Shrine and Headhunter stacks. That's kind of an oof. I get that it's a different area, but losing your Headhunter stacks, that sucks. I guess the meta would be you do the whole map, and then you do the Abyssal Depths last, I guess. So when you hit tab, when you're in the Abyssal Depths, it says that there's no modifiers. And I mean, the Abyssal Depths can be pretty challenging, actually. Sometimes the Abyssal Depths are more difficult to clear than the actual map, depending on how hard you're juicing. So I don't even know if we want map modifiers added on there, but I guess it's just a question. Was that intended? Was it intended that we aren't really able to juice it and it is what it is, or kind of deal? Or I guess that would be my question there. So this, I think, if you don't consider it a problem now, I think it will be a problem in the future. So I think this is something that I hope Grinding Gear Games like actually has a meeting about this. I hope they have a meeting about what they're doing now and what they're going to do in the future to make sure that this is exactly what they want it to be. But map creation. So in the end game, if you're making a map, this is what you have to do. You have to alch it first so it has 4 mods. This is one way of doing mapping, by the way. You can do it however you want. But I'm talking about juicing endgame maps. So we use an alchemy orb to 4 mods. Then we exalt it to 5 mods. Then we use a chaos orb with an omen to give it a bunch of rarity or something like that. One of the omens to make it juicier. Then we have to desecrate it. Now we have to TP out of our hideout, and then we have to reveal it at the well. Then we come back and we instill it. That's with the delirium, with the gray fog. And then finally, if we want to YOLO it, we can corrupt it, right? This is on every single map. So in my opinion, there's 2 issues here. The first issue is I'm not making my maps in my hideout. I'm making my maps in my hideout and then in the well and then back in my hideout. So the process of making the maps, just literally moving around, is a bit tedious. Yes, I'm very well aware of bulk making maps. You take a bunch of maps, you alch them all, you check for the mods you don't want to run, like Chilled Ground and da-da-da-da-da. By the way, I don't know if I have this written here, but I want to address it right now in case I forget. You said in the patch notes that Chilled Ground and Burning Ground got removed by 66%. Did that actually happen? I was running maps and Chilled Ground was arguably more prevalent than ever. Did that change actually even go through? And I asked my chat, I said, be real with me, like level with me here. Am I just being a bitch here? Or is the Chilled Ground like as crazy as it ever was? And all of them said yes, they see no reduction. At a minimum, it definitely wasn't reduced by whatever it was, 66%. Please take a look at that and see, did that even go through? Anyway, so the first problem here is we're making maps. We start in our hideout. We go to the well. We go back to our hideout. Da-da-da-da-da. I guess you could argue you could just TP to the well and make it all there, I guess. Not really where we want to be, but it's where you could do it. And I understand that you can do bulk map making. I get it. That's what I do. You get 15 maps, you alch them all, you check for the stuff you don't want, you throw away the Chilled Ground because Chilled Ground is still the worst thing in the game. I understand. The other thing about this is the future of the game, right? So once you have the campaign out, usually most of the mechanics and most of the things that you guys release furthers the end game, right? So if this is how many steps it takes to make a good map now, well, with all the future stuff that you might want to add, this list is certainly not going to get smaller and it might get bigger. That's what she said, right? So if we're starting off with this and TPing to the well just to make maps, this is a pretty tedious process already. So again, it would be lovely if you guys would have a meeting and discuss this and see what you guys would like to do. Is there anything that you can do for us to make endgame map creation have a few less steps or just be a little bit more favorable for us? That's just, again, asking for feedback. Here's me providing it. All of these were provided by chat, so not from me, but they said that they wanted me to include this, so here I go. They said that the value of Pinnacle Boss Uniques is just not there. I play hardcore SSF. They didn't really directly apply to my build, most of this, except for Darkness Enthroned, but that doesn't help me because I can't get the Ralakesh things from the Wisp anyway. So they're saying the value of the Pinnacle Boss Uniques is not there. Not my feedback, but that's what they said. They said, are we sold on one portal per map in T15s? And they find this very, very punishing. It has impacted me sometimes. Sometimes I'm lagging or sometimes I'm in danger and I choose to abandon ship and then I lose the map. But again, for me personally, I felt it was okay. It doesn't really happen to me too often because I build my characters to never die anyway. So I don't lose the portal because I die. I lose the portal because I make the decision that I do not want to continue here. The danger is too high, and I don't personally mind the penalty for that game mode. Another thing that people ask for, they'll always ask for this. I might as well throw this in there. They ask about the XP penalty on death. Again, I lose my character if I die, so it's whatever. To me. A way to save and or favorite searches. So people keep saying every time that they close the auction house function, like let's say they wanted to buy 2 talismans of Ralakesh. They find one they want to buy and they go to the hideout and they buy it. Then when they go back, they have to type talisman of Ralakesh. So are there some features we can add to this? Can we add, remember your last search, or can we have favorite searches or something like that? And they said co-op collision feels bad. The only time I played co-op was with Gazzy and DM. Those guys don't like me anyway, so they're never near me, so I didn't experience that problem. Okay, well that's it. Guys, I know I'm just a tourist, but I did play this for hundreds of hours. I have over 1,000 hours in Path of Exile 2's early access, and the reason why I'm making this video is I would like to help. I'm just trying to help. You said we're adding the endgame patch so we could get some feedback. So I played it for at least 100 hours, and I'm trying to give you some feedback that I think you should consider. That's all I'm trying to do here, okay? So I don't really get, some people get really mad at me for this. Mad at me for what? All I'm doing is providing feedback. I'm not telling them to nerf or buff things. I'm just telling you my experience, and I played a lot. All right. So that's it. Grinding Gear Games, if this helped you, I'm happy to help you. Really like your game. Nice job, guys. Great job. Keep it rolling. I can't wait to see how Path of Exile is going to turn out on the official launch. Can't wait to see what the next season is going to have for the endgame new content. Hopefully these ideas give you something to think about. By the way, one more thing, Grinding Gear Games, thank you. You implemented the fix to that previous crafting video that I made. You fixed the Omen of, I was going to say Omen of Light. It's not Omen of Light. It's the, whatever it's called, the one that highlights the things that made me ruin my item. You fixed it. Thank you. So that's it, guys. Have a fantastic day, and I'll see you in the next video. Thank you guys as well.